Hey, it's Ayla, and you are listening to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about alignment, a heavily used word, but so important for so many of us. Imagine if instead of just pushing through and hustling and efforting, everything would be coming from alignment. Wouldn't life be so much more fun and easy and flowy? It's why I picked it as my word of the year, and I figured I might as well make an episode about it. So, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Ayla, and for over a decade I've been dedicated to helping entrepreneurs thrive. Welcome to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Here we focus on personal growth so your business can grow alongside you. Discover how to optimize your business, elevate your mindset, and truly feel and act like a CEO. This is more than just business. It's about transforming your entire entrepreneurial journey. Join me on this path to unlock your fullest potential.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome in 2025. I know I'm shamefully late welcoming you into the new year because it's already like over the half of January when I'm recording this. Mom life happened to me. So I took a bit of a hiatus from the podcast, which was absolutely not planned at all. But, it's, life. I know that for a lot of people, 2025 has started out rough. Of course, I'm talking about the people in LA who my heart goes out to, and everyone who is affected by the situation over there. And then it's not the only crisis we have going on in the world right now. So, on a worldwide scale, my problems are very minor, and yet they were enough to keep me from doing anything. Our youngest went to school this January after the Christmas holidays. She went to school for 2 whole days before she got sick. She got so sick that I had to take her to the hospital at one point because she had a very high fever, and after 6 or 7 days, the fever still wasn't diminishing. So I took her to the doctor. So I was like, okay, this is enough. I've never taken care of a child who's this sick, so maybe I need help with this. And then, of course, she coughed into my face 1 time too much, and then I got the flu as well, and my husband sprained his ankle, so she was sick, he couldn't walk, I was feeling very much under the weather and trying to take care of them both. Yeah, it wasn't great. That being said, I'm back now. I hope you're feeling better, like your year has gotten off to a better start, because I feel like even though it's mid-January, I feel like my new year is starting just now. This is such a shame because I always have that really nice new year, new me vibe going on. So I really missed that this year. I still say we're in 2024. Like my mind hasn't caught up to the fact that we're in 2025 yet. So yeah, okay. I am, you might be like halfway to 2026 by now. As I said, I'm still sort of starting out the year. So today I'm going to talk about my word of the year, which is alignment. I think that both the word of the year as alignment are a bit overused. For me, I've never had a word of the year before. And I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh yes, this is something I would love to have. So I picked the first word which came to mind, which is alignment. If you have something that comes to mind immediately when you think of something, it's usually your intuition telling you something. So I didn't think about it too much. I was like, yes, alignment. I really like this. It's not only what I help my clients with, basically. It's also something I want to implement in more areas of my life. I think I have it pretty much under control. Business-wise, I'm doing a lot of things that are aligned. I have clients that I align with, and I do work that I love, which makes it easy and fun. But last year, I think if I were to give my last year a word, it would be burnout, because I was trying to do too much all at the same time. Even if it's all aligned, if it's too much, it kicks you out of alignment again, basically, is what it boils down to. So I said, okay, this year is going to be aligned. That also means for getting into shape. The 2 things I want to focus on this year are my business and my health. That are the main 2 focuses of the year. Last year, I was really pushing myself to do weightlifting because weightlifting is good for you. I got told on so many podcasts how awesome weightlifting is. So I got really into that. And each time I wanted to do it, I had to push myself to do it. So every time I was meditating and thinking about my dream life, which is what I meditate about a lot, I saw myself dancing. I'm not a great dancer. This is not something that comes natural to me. I look a bit weird when I do it because I'm not flexible. Like I don't have swayy hips and stuff like that. I basically move around like a wooden plank with some joints in it. But that doesn't keep me from having fun when I'm dancing. So this year I'm dancing and I don't care what it looks like. I'm having fun. And if I do it enough, I will get into shape by just dancing. How awesome is that? So yeah, alignment. So I think many of us identify as someone who had or has to hustle, to push through the rough years. You have small kids in a business, you just have to push through the rough years. Especially as moms, I think that we are very much pushed into being everything to everyone. And all of this is tying our worth to effort instead of to alignment. For me, this has really shown in my private life, in household areas, where I tend to keep very busy just to prove my worth as a mom, as a housewife. My husband earns more than I do, so I want to prove to him that I'm worth it, that he's working a lot and that I can take care of the house, or some wonky ideas about that. It's very much tied to effort. I think that's a big mistake because, well, I'll get to it in a bit, but I think that when we force ourselves to really work against what we really want, we end up exhausted, we end up resentful, we end up feeling stuck. And that eventually affects our relationships, it affects our health, the way we show up for everything, for our business, for our family, for, well, as I mentioned, the household. I've recently recorded an episode about how I filled 2 blogs, still can't pronounce it. Months have passed, still cannot pronounce the word blog. I had 2 blogs, and I love blogging in itself. I love writing, I love the whole website part, I love taking pictures. This was 2015, and so I don't know, I don't think we had a lot of stock photo options, or I just didn't want to use it. I love taking pictures, so I was taking pictures of myself with the books I was reading and talking about on the blog, and taking pictures of recipes that I was making to feel better. All these separate elements I really loved until the main focus became monetizing it, and I really had to push myself to think about subjects that I wanted to write about, and then that whole shadow just fell over my entire love of blogging, and I completely fell out of alignment with it. Being out of alignment in one part of something can flow over into so many other parts of that something of your life. For me, the worst example is the burnout that I had, which then led to me starting a blog, but that was later on. The first part was that I, for several years, have worked so much in unalignment. How do you say this? In jobs that were absolutely not aligned with the vision I had of myself, with my purpose here on earth, and just pushing on through. There were multiple aspects to it. It wasn't just that it didn't feel right. It was also that there wasn't enough support for me. I was doing the work of 6 people. I told my bosses, I can't go on like this. We need to hire a team to support me. And then we started chopping up my job into separate roles. And we created 5 full-time jobs. And then there was me as well. So I was doing the work of 6 people on my own. So that, of course, also leads to burnout. It would have been more fun, and it still would have been too much, but I would have maybe found more solutions to make it work or something. But it didn't. And I completely got sick. There was this one evening when I had just moved in with my now husband, and he went on a holiday with his friends, and so it was just me. And I went out for dinner with a friend, and I got on my bike. We lived in Amsterdam, so I got on my bike to drive back home. But because I had just moved, I automatically started driving back to my former house. And then halfway through, I sort of had a blackout. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where I was going. And I was just standing on the sidewalk with my bike in my hand and just crying and thinking, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? And then the next day I called in sick, and I stayed sick for months. I couldn't do anything. Like the first week, I spent it crying underneath a blankie on the couch. I could hardly feed myself. It was just, my body was just, well, my mind as well, of course, it was just gone, completely gone. So that's what really happens if you work in unalignment for as long as I did. And even if it's maybe not that bad, I think that living and working out of alignment, it doesn't just feel off, it quietly drains you in ways that you might not realize until it's too late, like basically what I did. So let me break that down a bit. If you are working out of alignment, living out of alignment, it drains your energy. You force yourself to focus on things that don't feel right, and that's exhausting. This can be working for clients who don't light you up, sticking to routines that feel heavy. Constantly swimming upstream is what it boils down to. And the energy that you're spending is energy that you could have used to focus on stuff that actually matters to you. So that makes it doubly bad. Like, you're draining energy and you're getting nothing out of it. It's a waste of your time. Every minute you spend on something that's out of alignment is a minute that you can't get back. You might hit the goal, you might check the box, but if it doesn't connect to your bigger picture, what's the point? And I think that those are moments and opportunities lost to things that don't move the needle. And that's just, well, as I said, you're not getting time back, so that's a waste of time. For me, working out of alignment chips away at your confidence. Because being out of alignment creates this nagging feeling that you're stuck, or that you're not good enough, or that you're not pushing it hard enough because you're not putting in enough effort. Because overall, in the bigger picture, you're not feeling like you're thriving. And I think that the truth is, it's not you. It's that you're trying to fit into a mold that doesn't work for you or for where you want to go. And that disconnection between those two makes you second guess yourself. And in the end, that will just, it will make it worse. Because the next time you're going to work on a task that is out of alignment, and your confidence is already halfway gone because it takes you so long and you feel stupid that you're trying it anyway, and it makes you dread it even more. Well, that's not fun. And I think that in the end, this boils down to keeping you playing small. When you're living out of alignment, you're not giving yourself a chance to show up as your best self. You're staying in the safe zone, doing what's expected of you instead of stepping into what truly feels right for you. And staying small doesn't feel good, unless your purpose is to stay small. It's not just uncomfortable being out of alignment, it's actually holding you back, I think, from the life and the business that you deserve. Alignment is where your power lies, and when you're in it, that's when you truly thrive. That's when you get into your zones of genius and you take things forward because you just have the energy. So let's stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter and make choices that actually serve us. You know? For me, the trouble with, this is a lovely picture. Put everything into alignment. That sounds awesome. There are a lot of things that I think I need to do, and I will give those priority over the things that I want to do. Because when you put alignment into simple words, like wanting to do something instead of needing to do something, it sounds so spoiled. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly been raised with the attitude that some things suck, but you need to do them anyway. And you might as well get it over with right away. Then that's behind you. And then afterwards you can focus on things that you like, which is the thing I'm actively teaching my kids as well. Okay, writing that down to change that. When you prioritize your priorities like that, on the one hand, yes, it's awesome because there are things that you need to do that suck. And when you get it over with, it's done and you can focus on things that you like. And it sounds so logical when you say it like that, but it will take your energy. If you were to start working in alignment from today on out, how could you apply it without dropping things left and right, without dropping those tasks that you need to do? So take your business, for example. What would a completely aligned business look like for you? For me, it would be a flow where energy is focused on what truly matters. It's not about doing less, but doing about what feels right. And for tasks that you are doing now, but that feel draining or time-consuming, eating up your confidence, maybe outsourcing would be a more aligned action to take there. And if outsourcing doesn't align with your priorities right now, then you could try setting up a new system that makes it easy for you to do this task anyway, so you can spend as little time on it as possible. Sorry for calling you out, but you need to think of something that will get you through this task as soon as possible, so it's out of your way. It's not about avoiding challenges to live in alignment, but it's about leaning into challenges that serve your bigger purpose. And challenges that don't serve the bigger purpose should become less challenging, because you're spending energy to solve that issue. And if the issue isn't aligned with your overall vision, then you're just spending energy, you know? If you, however, are looking into a system that's helping you tackle those shitty tasks so you can then focus on the tasks that are in alignment, then figuring out that system is in alignment with the overall vision. So, it's a fine line, but for me, it works. So for me, what it boils down to is having a clarity in goals and therefore decisions. If dancing comes to mind again, I don't know why I'm always talking about getting healthy on a business podcast, but you know me by now, this is what I do. When I think of this, I immediately think of the dancing example I gave earlier. I want to get fit. I'm going to do that by dancing because I love dancing. And then it's just easier, like all the decisions that come from that, even down to small things like what clothes am I going to wear to work out, is easier because you already know what the bigger purpose is, what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, etc. So it makes things quicker to decide on. You're having more energy and creativity because you're not fighting against yourself. When I work in alignment, I know exactly who my ideal client is, for example. I know what to say to her. I know what to say on this podcast because I know who I'm talking to and she needs to hear this. It's giving me more energy and creativity because I know what she needs to hear and I have that information for her. I can help her. And just having that feeling makes me want to create more because then I can reach more people and I can help more people, which then in turn is back in line with my big vision that I have. And it just creates a beautiful, maybe not a circle, but a beautiful flow between the separate parts of your life, of your business. And that in turn leads to feeling more fulfilled because you're aligning with what you truly value in life. And then that basically comes back to magnetizing opportunities, clients who resonate with you. If your micro decisions, your micro tasks that you're doing on a basic level every day are in alignment with the bigger picture that you have, with your values, with your vision, it will translate back into the bigger picture, until this is what people see of you, and then they feel that they align with you. Everything just becomes so much easier. What also becomes easier, I think, is saying no to clients, saying no to projects that don't fit your vision anymore. That feels scary sometimes. For example, right now I'm in a situation where I want to tell a client no, but it does align with my financial priorities. And that makes it difficult because I know that when I were to say no to them, I would create an opportunity for other clients to come in that are aligned with my vision and that also give me that financial profit that I'm getting right now. But since finances have been a hot topic in our household for the last few years, this is absolutely scarcity and not just scarcity, but also scaredness holding me back. And that's something you need to think about. What's weighing the heaviest? Is it working for a client multiple times per week that doesn't feel aligned? Or would it feel even more unaligned to say no right now while you've just gotten out of a situation of financial scarcity? So for me right now, it is still in alignment to keep working for them, but it won't be for very long. I already know that. Like, one of my goals this year is to replace the income that I'm earning with them. So I also think that working in alignment is thinking about it like this. You don't necessarily need to drop everything right now. If you start thinking about what would my business look like when everything would be in alignment, and you have, like me, you have a major client that you come to the conclusion that maybe it's not in alignment with you, then you take it a step further. Is it in financial alignment to say no and quit it and make space for new clients? Or would that then bring you in such a position of out of alignment with your whole financial situation that it brings you so much more stress and pressure in other areas of life? I think it's a balance. It's not just a very black and white situation where you can look at one thing and say, okay, this is aligned. Yes, this is aligned. No, look at the bigger picture as well. I do think, well, basically, as I said, like taking those micro actions, aligning your daily actions with your long-term values, that's already going to bring such a massive difference that for me right now, it doesn't matter that I'm spending a few hours per week for a client that I don't feel completely aligned with, because there are other parts of my life that are aligned. Those are bringing me enough joy to compensate for the unjoy. Alrighty, that's it for, well, my word of the year, alignment. I am very curious to hear if maybe you have a word of the year as well, or if you have some specific way you're planning to go this year. Come find me over on Instagram to tell me. I love getting messages, and so far I've been pretty active on LinkedIn, but I like Instagram better. I like it that it's more visual. So yeah, come find me over there and send me a message about your word of the year. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Don't forget that I see you. I'm rooting for you for all your plans to come to a big old success. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. I hope you loved what you heard today. And if you did, it would mean a world to me if you could leave a review. Because believe it or not, reviews on podcasts are actually still used to make sure more people get to see this podcast in their screens and maybe click on it and learn something as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.